So I just wanted to jump into what we're coining the pillars of the intelligent workplace. We see this breaking down into three key areas: knowledge and comms, process and productivity, and data and decisions. So you can see here the pillars of the intelligent workplace. We have SharePoint, Viva, Teams, Microsoft 365 Copilot living in the knowledge and comms. We have process and productivity, which includes Power Platform, AI Builder, and Copilot Studio. And we have data and decisions, which includes Fabric, Power BI, Synapse AI. So just a quick intro to some of those tools. So SharePoint, which we've demoed many times before, is a knowledge hub. It allows us to build an intranet out for an organization, but typically this can include things like controlled documents, where we can include policies, all our ISO-related documents, procedures. We can also build out a knowledge base, which can be used for storing all of the company-wide knowledge. Dougie's going to demonstrate a SharePoint agent later on and how we can use these in real life that can start to look at this data and be used within your organization. We also talked about Power Platform. So you can see here we have an example of a model-driven app, which allows us to collect data, whether it's project information, and then we can jump in and see all the project type information. And finally, a quick example of a Power BI report, which can be used to present that data. Copilot's also available for all of these products now, which allows us to ask questions of the data and really interrogate what's going on. So flicking back to the presentation, as I mentioned, SharePoint's a knowledge storage area. We have Viva, which can be used for employee engagement. We have Microsoft Teams, which would replace your internal comms. So perhaps instead of internal emails, we can start to move to a communication-focused Teams environment. We have Microsoft 365 Copilot, which can be used to ask questions of all your Microsoft 365 data. Over in Power Platform, we're able to build applications, either Canvas apps or model-driven apps that can replace Excel spreadsheets and collect data from different environments. We have AI Builder and Copilot Studio, which I'm going to demonstrate an example of this at the moment that lets us build agents that automate processes. And then finally, we have Fabric, which is a data warehousing software as a service type tool. It allows you to connect to all your different data sources, join those relationships together, and then using AI, it can start to identify patterns and help you automatically create Power BI reports. That's a quick intro to the pillars of the intelligent workplace. So as part of Valto's AI strategy, I wanted to cover off some of the AI tools that we've implemented as part of our building the intelligent workplace of the future using Microsoft AI. So we'll cover off some of our pre-sales areas where we've helped build some tools, especially around preparing for meetings, and then a huge time saver that saved hundreds of hours across our consultancy and developers is a new AI agent that helps the pre-sales team get estimates accurate for their projects. So it will look in our knowledge bases and basically start to identify projects that we've completed previously using actual hours, and it'll help put together a proposal for that salesperson automatically with some ranges of how much that project's typically going to take. So historically, before that process, we had to get our consultants and developers spending a lot of time for every single project, writing out what that project's going to look like and how many hours it's going to take. Now we've moved to this new model. It basically has been completely automated. So we no longer have to use any developers or consultants. We're creating proposals using all of our historical projects, which are stored in Dynamics 365 project operations, and it's saved us hundreds of hours. So as an example of how we're using this, we have at Halo, which is our internal service management system and CRM. And you can see here we've got an opportunity for a housing association. And as we jump into that, we've created well, you can see the opportunity that comes through, and we've created a new AI op button at the very top. So when we click on this, we can see the internal description of what that particular client's looking for. So looking to digitize our internal process for managing maintenance systems. We've classified the lead interest, the business unit, and the company name. So when we hit AI op and hit save, basically what this will do is it will automatically go ahead and create a thread over in Microsoft Teams, and our sales team can then start to ask it different questions of what we need. So we've created this pre-sales agent. So if you scroll right down to the bottom and I tag the pre-sales agent just in here, you can see I've got two options. I've got the create agenda. So before that meeting, what we're able to do is we're able to help that salesperson prep as much as they can to get ready for the meeting. So when I hit create agenda and I drop that in and push send, what will happen is in a couple of minutes, the AI agent will grab that data and it will come back with a proposed meeting agenda. The second one, which I'll demonstrate, is more about creating the proposal. So just while we wait for this agenda to come through, here we go. You can see now it's basically come back with a proposed meeting agenda. So this is taking Valto's process that we like to follow for making sure we capture all that information, like stakeholders and users. But it's also bespoking some of the questions that pre-sales consultant should ask around that. So additional questions that they should think about: technical landscape, integration, and data. So it means that they can go into that meeting fully prepared and capture everything that we need. Of course, when they have that meeting, the next step is then usually we create a fixed price budget proposal document. So again, I can tag the agent. You can see I have an option here for create proposal. I can then drop in the information. So usually we'd have a lot more information for this, but in my demo, I'm just quickly showing some of this. When that goes away now, the next step will basically ask if I've got any additional information. So is there any supporting files? I can choose yes, and that will basically then give me a SharePoint location where I can upload those files. And you can see it's now asking me to do that. So I can go through that process and I can hit OK. And ultimately then the next and final step then is it goes ahead and it automatically creates that proposal document. So you can see on this document, it's brought through the name of the customer, it's brought through the title, it brings through some of our standard template stuff, it brings automatically what the solution is going to look like. So this will be a Canvas app, the technologies that will be used. As we scroll down, it's got our example project cost. It automatically identifies how long the project's likely to take. And then it comes back with these packages. So based on previous projects that we've completed, it comes back with estimated ranges for delivering an MVP, standard, and premium project. And finally, it'll also include things like what's going to be included in the low-level design, the licensing. So this process has saved our pre-sales team a huge amount of time, not only time of effort that the consultants and the developers were taking to create those proposals and find the estimates for the projects, but also the time in which it takes to get back to our customers with proposals. So now we can typically turn these around within a few hours instead of a couple of days.